Morning, everybody. So here's an early morning practice just to get you going for the beginning of the week. So just coming into your space, starting to feel your feet. Taking one or two deeper breaths. Noticing how you're feeling, sensations arising. There's nothing to do, change or fix. Just be here now. So we'll start with some arm movements to deepen the breath. So as you breathe in, float the arms forwards, keep breathing in. As you turn the palms up, take the arms out to shoulder height, keep breathing in. As you take the arms up above your head, palms facing. A long, slow exhale as you turn your palms out. Extend your arms out to the sides and down by your sides. So the inhalation forwards, palms up. Feel your rib cage expanding, and at the top of the in-breath, hold the expansion for a moment. And then a long, slow exhalation, keeping some of the expansion in your ribs. So in other words, you're not allowing everything to collapse. Feel the extension right out through your fingertips as you continue with this long, slow breathing. And letting your arms just hang by your sides the next time that they come down by your sides. And giving your arms a shake, just shaking out, relaxing, releasing. Take my glasses off for this. Just getting rid of any tension, loosening up, jigging. Starting to shake your arms out and around to the sides. And just generally moving any way that you want to, just getting into the shaking, into the bouncing. I'm going to shake down to the floor now. Letting go, letting go. So jiggle down to the floor and jiggling back up, shaking, jiggling, coming all the way up here. And again, we're going to jiggle and shake towards the ground. So jiggling, bouncing, keeping the neck relaxed, your chin and your jaw relaxed. And once your fingers are near the floor again, you've got bent knees just hanging. One or two deeper breaths, going right to the end of the exhales.
And then just squeezing your feet, squeezing your feet, squeezing your ankles around the fronts of the ankles, the backs of your ankles, and moving and squeezing up your calves, your shins, backs of your knees. So just going up and down the calves, just feeling into your calves, feeling your body, massaging around the knees, feeling your thighs, fronts of your thighs, backs of your thighs, massaging. And then just give your buttocks a little pummel, make loose fists, pummeling as high up the back of your body as you can. I'm using loose fists here, just moving into the mid-back. And then coming up the sides of the body towards the armpits. Notice elbows are quite high, and then taking elbows high and bringing the hands around the back of your neck, just massaging here, massaging into the back of your head. And then around the front of your face, your jaw, just doing whatever you feel like. And then hands coming down, fingers coming down to the ribs, thumbs just below the breasts. And begin to, using the tips of your fingers, the pads of your fingers, just tapping. So it really is just a tapping on those lower ribs. You'll feel the thumbs just below the line of the breasts and the fingers tapping out as far as you can on the ribs and then back into the center. This is a light tapping, it's an energizing practice. Just let your breath come and go in its own natural rhythm. Make sure your shoulder blades don't rise up. Just keep them as relaxed as you can. And then just letting your fingers tap up to the center of your breastbone. You can use one hand, tapping your fingers, or both, lightly. So all the fingers, not so much the thumbs now. So the center of your breastbone, just tapping here. Then just bringing your fingers together and the thumbs, so you've made a little shape like that, and tapping below your collarbones. So just feel your collarbones and tap into the space just underneath them, tapping. Still letting your breath come and go, shoulder blades sliding down your back. This is all about energy. Keep your fingers in this shape and just tapping on your cheekbones. So just using the amount of pressure that feels good, you can tap in and out on your cheekbones. So the bone just keep moving, keep tapping, lightly does it, lightly does it. And then preparing to bring the center knuckles of your thumbs between your eyebrows, sort of at the top of your eye sockets. Just press gently, can be quite painful, just pressing there. So when I say press, it's a fairly light pressure, but you can feel it, just holding that, noticing your breath. And then bring the pads of all your fingers to the middle of your forehead. And I like to tap, but some people prefer to slide the fingers out as though you're smoothing your brow. So do what works for you. So just gently tapping out or smoothing out.
alternating right up to your hairline, and then just pressing the fingers into the hairline at the center. And then from the center of your head, smoothing out, pressing, smoothing, all as far as you can from the midline, smoothing out, really firm pressure. Keep going down the center of the back of your head as you press and smooth out until you get to your the base of your skull, top of your neck, just easing the fingers into that. We'll just massage the earlobes. So index finger and thumb massaging your earlobes, index finger going inside and thumbs on the outside. Really squeeze and massage and squeeze and massage. Keep noticing that your breath is deep. Squeezing, massaging, really getting into your earlobes. I'm going to finish by squeezing the tragus, that little bit of flesh that sticks from the side of your head into your ear, the little triangle there. Just squeeze that. And then just crossing your arms, one hand on each shoulder. Noticing your breath. We're going to squeeze and massage down the arms. So squeezing and massaging, squeezing, feeling your arms moving down towards the hands, massaging your hands, your fingers, right to the ends of your fingertips, thumbs, the other hand. So squeezing, massaging, extending to your thumbs, squeezing. So wringing out your hands, coming back up through the wrists, forearms to the elbows, bringing the hands onto the backs of your shoulders. And then letting one hand slide down diagonally across your body to the opposite hip, and then the other hand to the opposite hip. So it doesn't work to cross your arms again. Massaging across the body to the hip, from shoulder to opposite hip. And then let your arms hang. Let's make a steeple with the fingers, the index fingers, sweeping your arms forwards and up. Feel yourself growing tall from your feet, from the sides of your waist, coming up and over to your right. So keep strong in your left side. Really feel that left foot, left leg, left hip. You've got all of that strength on the left side. You've got compression, a little compression on the right side. Noticing your breath, deep breaths in, deep breaths out. Feeling length, there's no collapse here, going over to the side. And there is a challenge, there is effort, but don't go beyond your challenging place. Don't try to go too far. If you feel you might have gone too far, you can't sustain it, then come back a little. If it feels just light and easy, then just see if you can find a little bit more effort, a little bit more challenge. Keep coming back to your roots, Really noticing both feet. Another little deep breath in here, coming up and letting go. So noticing the sensation of letting go, resting. Let's make a steeple again. Index fingers, making a steeple as you bring the upper arms just in front of your ears. Feel your roots grow tall and come up and over to your left. Big deep breaths in, deep breaths out. Just finding that place that you can feel challenged, but you can sustain the effort with your breath. So deep breaths. Keeping your jaw loose. Hear the breath at the back of your throat, the sound of your breath in your throat. Another deep breath in, coming up here, and letting go. So we're going to roll down the spine. So I'd like you to put your chin on your chest, let your knees soften, rolling down your spine. So we've already had 2 jiggles down, so now you're rolling down. Really feeling your back muscles, so paying out strength of your legs, fingertips on the floor. So you're not using the floor to sink into and drop into, you're using the floor as a little bit of resistance, and it's spatial awareness. You know where you are, you've got all of your fingers on the floor, you've got your 2 feet firmly on the floor. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. As you breathe out, really release between your shoulders, feel your upper back flattening a little. We're going to uncurl into standing again. Coming back up to standing. And just taking a moment here in standing. So we're going to come into the squat. So we've worked to strengthen and mobilize in the legs. Just let your feet be firm, your knees come forwards, sitting bones going back. So I haven't gone very deep, got my arms coming out, but I'm keeping them at the same time drawn back into the sockets. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. And this is a challenge. There is effort, you're sustaining it with your breath. Just go back to the original breathing that we did. So the deep breaths in, keeping your rib cage expanded, holding some of that expansion as you go into the out breath. So you really feel the deep abdominal muscles working. One more deep breath in. On your out breath, slowly straighten your legs, lower your arms. Let your arms hang. Making fists, put them in the small of your back. And sending your pelvis forwards. So you're coming into the pelvic press. And still deep breaths in and deep breaths out. Notice that I'm not dropping my head right back. So just let my neck follow the line of the spine. Everything's coming from my pelvis. Sustaining this with the breath. Another breath in, coming slowly up here. Coming back to mountain pose. So I'd like you to slowly roll down. If you're not a squatter, then practice half kneeling, half lunging. If you're a squatter, fingertips back to the floor, toes turning out, dropping into the squat. And we're going to swing the legs, the feet rather, from side to side. So if you're not doing that, you know that you're doing this. Okay. And the whole purpose is to really get into the groins, into the ankle joints, into the groins and hips, ankle joints, and the toes. Be aware of how your toes are. If you're somebody that can drop the heels to the floor, then just dropping your heels to the floor, coming into garland pose. So my upper arms are sending my knees out, palms of the hands are here. And if you want to stop and get yourself some, you can stop the tape. You can get yourself some blocks. You could put blocks under your heels. And we'll come out of garland pose, put the hands behind you. Everybody coming to Shavasana, so coming to lying face down. Sorry, on your back. Shavasana on your back. So bringing yourselves to lying in Shavasana. Really letting go. Noticing any habits you have about how you lie down. Just roll your head. Find that center point where you feel grounded. You might want to continue rolling your head just so that you can check in with your neck. When you've done that a few times, you'll have found the center point. And now really notice that you can let your shoulders go. Have you got your arms in their usual place? Why don't you take them out a bit? Turn your palms up, soft fingers. Now bring your attention to the way you've placed your legs. Let your legs be away from the midline, toes falling out. And then coming back up to the back of your head, to the backs of your shoulders. Just notice on your out breaths how far down your back you can feel connection to the floor. So noticing on your out breaths that maybe the spine just sinks a little bit further down. Just remembering what you're feeling for a little bit later. Notice how the belly falls back as you breathe out. Feel the belly falling into the pelvis. So in between your hip bones into the lower belly. And as the belly sinks, feel the weight of your pelvis. And now just give your fingers a little bit of a stretch. Bring one foot and then the other foot onto the floor. Noticing how your feet are feeling. Just going down through the soles of your feet, your heels. Also notice what changed in your back. Have a few flatten and arches. So as you breathe out, flatten the waist to the ground. As you breathe in, arch. Really noticing the movement all the way from your pelvis to your waist, upper back, neck and chin. So your head rolling at the other end. As the back flattens, chin gets pushed up in the air. As the belly expands, the back arches, the chin gets drawn down. And I'm doing all this from the feet. It might feel as though you're mobilizing using your spine, your abdominal muscles, but actually just notice how much the feet are working. Make sure your feet are in a good place for you, so you can feel your ankles, your heels, your knees. And as I press down the next time, I'm going really strongly into the feet. And my pelvis is starting to come up. Torso doesn't know much about this. It's gradually being lifted. Backs of the hands together above the breastbones and elbows falling back and up. So I'm keeping going down through the heels, kneecaps. I'm being sure they're going straight forwards as I continue to unroll, opening up in the elbows, reaching out through the hands. So strong work from heels to knees to hips. Relax the buttocks, soft belly. So you're holding the bridge for as long as you like. You don't have to hold it for very long, or you can hold it just to feel all the tissues opening up. So slowly returning to the ground. And I'm going to bring the right, that's my left, the right knee over the front body. So I'm doing my usual mirroring. So I'm just holding my right thigh close. Just giving my foot, the ankle, a little bit of a circle here. And just reaching for the big toe. So my knee is going out actually to the other side of my shoulder. Knee's going out. And then I'm going to bring the shin perpendicular. So I've opened up, the foot is facing the ceiling. I'm still holding the big toe. You can do this with a strap. Deep breaths in and deep breaths out, and then release this leg. I like to feel, use the hands to feel the legs. Do the same with your other side, your left side. And if you've got knee problems, put the hand in behind the knee and then pull out. So as you put the hand in behind the knee and you pull out, you're just helping. It's more about closing the space. Knees going out towards the armpit. See, I'm using both hands here. One hand to support my knee, and if there is a knee problem, have it at the back.
And then using this, so this is my left leg, and I'm bringing my left hand down the inside, holding the left big toe. And then opening up here. So you can see the knee is to the outside of my shoulder. And the foot is facing the ceiling, the shin is perpendicular. Not strong into the hips. And then release that. Bring it down. Let's have both knees over the front body. Just come into that lying squat. So just rolling, just getting into a nice comfortable position for your back, for your hips, for your knees. Do some circles, the butterfly circles. So just see if you can coordinate your breath here, but we're really feeling into the hips. This is not about anything other than the hips. Circling the other way. Just really enjoying the amount of movement you've got. Just be with whatever is showing up for you today. Next time you bring your knees together, to keep your hands on your kneecaps, just have another little rock and roll. Just give yourself a little bit of a rock and roll, rolling the head, body following. And then we're going to rest on the back again. Bring both hands between your knees, reach for both big toes. So remember your knees are falling out towards the armpits. You're holding your big toes. You can do this with the strap. So if you let go of your left big toes, put that foot on the floor, left hand behind your right knee. Just holding that. And quite like to extend the left leg, left arm. So you're extending out here. So that's an add-on. You don't have to do that. Bending your left leg again. Reaching your left hand for the right heel. And just draw the right heel, the top of the foot, towards your thigh. And my right hand is supporting the knee. Again, you can have the strap around this right foot. I like to put my fingers in behind the toes. So when I do that, my right hand actually comes down to support the shin. So I'm just here, feeling the fingers in behind the toes. And just working to really be aware of the foot, be aware of the joints in the foot, be aware of your ankle. And gradually the heel coming a little bit closer to the left groin. My right hand has gone back to support the knee. So there's a couple of variations. You can keep hold of the foot with your big toes, the knee with your hand, and slide your left leg long. So you're just supporting the leg into a half, this is half lotus, but what it's called doesn't really matter. Just noticing the hands on really help to connect, and also don't do anything that is really not appropriate for you. Still noticing your breath. So when you bend your left leg again, you can bring the foot off the floor. And I'm going to let the fingers come out from between the toes, bring my arms to shoulder height. I'm going to just take myself into a lying twist. So just really just gently rocking, just warming up here. Just noticing which side is feeling sort of the least comfortable. The full twist, because you've got your right leg over your left, your right foot over your left thigh, the full twist will be to your left so that those right toes come towards the floor. And I'm going to use my left hand just to hold the shin. So this is a big movement in the buttock. Just staying with deep breaths in and deep breaths out. Keep that right shoulder as relaxed as you can. You can turn the head and look along it. Doesn't really need that. Feeling this diagonal stretch from the right shoulder all the way down to your left, inside of your left hip. If you're not feeling comfortable with the legs in this position, you can just take yourself into a normal lying twist. So if you're not joining in with the foot across the thigh, do a normal lying twist. So on your next exhale, bring yourself back up to center. And we're going to release the right leg, bring the left foot up, hold both big toes. Just a couple of deep breaths here. So let your right leg and arm extend. So instead of sliding them out, I've just lowered them this time, but you can do what works for you. So you've got the fingers around your left big toe, left knee dropping towards the body, left shin perpendicular, the foot facing the ceiling. Another deep breath in here. So if you bend your right leg, put the right foot on the floor again, bring the right hand to reach for the left foot and left hand on the knee. So you're bringing the foot across the body. The foot is coming onto the thigh and slipping your fingers in. Slipping your fingers in behind the toes. So I've got my left hand just supporting under the shin. You may not feel you need that support. I just use my hand to bring the heel closer to the groin. Otherwise, you can have the hand on the knee. Really feeling into the joints of your foot. Being aware of your ankle. So you can keep on holding the foot, the fingers in between the toes, hand on the knee, and slowly extending your right leg. Gradually letting the left thigh release. It may not release. And again, as I said, the use of your hands to feel what's happening in your body, to give it support. Deep breaths in and deep breaths out. So you don't have to hold that very long. Sometimes it's just a moment just to see how it feels. And you can take your fingers out, bring the right foot off the floor, Bring your arms to shoulder height. And just begin some little rocks. So keep your shoulders on the ground and just rocking the legs from side to side. So I said belatedly at the end of the other side, you can do this without the leg, the foot over the thigh. You can just do normal lying twists with your knees together. So this time, the full twist will be taking these left toes towards the ground on the right. So you're twisting to the right. Use your right hand to support the shin, helps stop everything sliding away. So you're resting here, keeping your left arm really relaxed, your left shoulder relaxed. So whether you're in this keyhole position with the leg across the thigh, or whether you're in an ordinary lying twist, be very aware of this diagonal movement from left shoulder all the way to the inside of your right hip bone. So it's a diagonal line on the front of the body. And you'll really feel that if you breathe deeply. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. Notice how much you can relax all these big muscles, the thigh and the buttock muscles. Another deep breath in. On your out breath, bring yourself back up to center. Release this left leg. And put both feet on the floor. Slide your legs away, bringing yourself into Shavasana. And bending one leg, rolling yourself over onto the front of your body. So coming to lying face down. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. Extending your arms. We're going to stay with the diagonal line. So we have a diagonal line across the front of the body. So if we feel the grounding, tuck your toes under, press back into one heel, and then the other side. Feel how grounded you are through your pubic bone and your two hip bones. So actually press down into the ground. Forehead is on the ground. Some deep breaths in, deep breaths out. On an exhale, extend your right arm and your left leg. So lift and extend. Keep your forehead on the floor. And then lowering. Have a breath in there. As you breathe out, grounding through the pelvis and lifting left arm and right leg. Just hold that for a couple of breaths, feeling even more grounded through the pelvis on the out breath. On your next out breath and lower, breathing in. So do that twice more to each side in your own time. Really concerning yourself with the length. And that diagonal line from shoulder to hip on the back of the body, fingers to toes.
When you come down from the third time on your second side, resting. So again, really noticing what resting feels like. And then bringing your hairline back to the mat. Bringing your hands under your shoulders or out from the level with your shoulders, but out to the sides. Make sure that you're grounded through the tops of your legs, through your pelvis. As you exhale, just grow your cobra, just coming up about an inch. Noticing the impetus in your body, you want to go high. So really slow that down so that you're aware of every inch of lift. And noticing what's going down. So the pelvis goes down. You can feel the connection of your low ribs. As you gradually grow your cobra. You can slide your hands into Sphinx. Your arms into Sphinx. So actually that feels quite nice. I'm grounding down through the forearms and my wrists. Noticing the weight of the pelvis and the legs. Lifting away from the ground releases shoulders away from your neck. Feel the shoulder blades coming together down your back. Listening to your breath. So Sphinx is not just resting, reading a book on the beach type of movement. It's very active, it's very strong. Using those back muscles, using the arms to resist the ground. To come down, slowly, slowly, sliding down to the ground. Releasing your arms and resting on the other side of your face. So really feeling the cheekbone, shoulders, and then bringing your hairline back to the mat, bring your hands underneath your shoulders. We're going to come back into Sphinx, tuck your toes under, lifting up one foot and then the other, pressing down through one foot and then the other. So you're tucking your toes under, pressing back into the heels, feel one knee come up and then the other knee come up as you bring yourself into elbow plank. We're going from here onto our knees into child's pose. So onto your knees and back into child. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. Have your arms where they're in the best place for you. So keeping your sitting bones as anchored as you can, start to uncurl. So your sitting bones anchored as you uncurl through the spine, coming up slowly. And just kneeling here. Or if kneeling isn't your thing, send your legs out so you're sitting. So preparing for your dog pose, both hands just coming forwards, toes tucking under. Remembering that you don't change the angle of your arms. So as you lift your knees, so we have worked into the feet a fair bit. So as you come here, just feeling what's going on between the shoulders. There's no stress in your arms or your shoulders as you gradually unfold to wherever you're going with your dog pose. And it's quite nice to move about a little bit, pedal, just moving. And we'll come down, so bottom going back, knees coming forwards, arms haven't changed as you come down. And we'll do that again. This time we'll stay up there and gradually walk the hands towards the feet. So from here, I'm just coming back into the middle a little bit. So you can see I'm hanging over my legs. I'm going to take my left foot back, just as though it's in a train track, just coming back here, but it won't go back very far, which is good. So now really feeling yourself as though you're in a train track. If you're going to bend a knee, make it the front one. Do your best to keep the back one straight, both legs straight if you can. So the front foot is your right foot. Put your right hand to the inside of your right ankle. We're going to rotate the upper body. So lifting the right shoulder, right elbow, sorry, left shoulder, left elbow above the right. And this is as far as you need go. If you can just unfold from the elbow, that's fine. But the most important thing is the turn of your ribs, the upper body. The pelvis is firm and flat. So you could put a tea tray on your pelvis. I haven't said that for a long time. And noticing that both shoulders are still very relaxed. Deep breaths in and deep breaths out. And coming down. And stepping that left foot forwards again. So let's just take the right foot back as though it's in a train track. And you can bend the left knee, keep it straight. Left hand on the inside. So left shoulder goes down as you use this hand coming up here, turning, turning. You can check the pelvis is flat. And my hand is on my inside of my right shoulder. I'm looking at my elbow. I can unfold, but I don't have to. It's a big movement. You can keep the hand on the back of the pelvis. Thinking about that diagonal line across the front of the body and the back body now. So from the inside of your top shoulder, all the way diagonally to the inside of your bottom hip bone. Deep breaths in and deep breaths out. And we'll return to the floor. Step that foot forwards. Back in forward bend. And we'll slowly, let's walk into the dog. So Coming down from dog pose.
And coming to sitting. So we'll actually sit. So bringing yourself into sitting. So lots of nice work. Bringing one heel in, just see how that feels. Just doing a few little movements here, twisting, rotating. Take that leg out, bring the other heel in. So a little movement here, a little bit of twisting. So we've just rotated in the trunk. You're feeling that movement now, the inner thighs a little bit more, just easing out these inner thighs. And then if you're happy to keep your, whichever heel is in, bring the other heel in. You know how to adjust so you can have both legs out in a V shape. You can have your bolsters. You can sit on your bolsters. You can kneel over your bolsters. So soft jaw, soft mouth, keeping the sound of the breath at the back of your throat, just hearing that sound. So having the first finger and thumb touching, the other three fingers can be long. And noticing your breath here. Another deep breath. Keep your first fingers and thumbs touching, but fold those three fingers, the extended fingers, into the palm. Turn the fists down and bring them to the middle of your thighs. And now coming back to noticing your breathing. And now open up your hands, bring your thumbs across the palms, fold your other four fingers over your thumbs. Turn your fists down and drop them into the tops of your legs. Coming back to your breathing. Keeping your fists folded like this, bring the backs of your knuckles together in front of your breastbone. So sorry, not your breastbone, but the bottom of your ribs. There's a little sort of V at the bottom of your ribs. Now focus on the breath. Where are you feeling it in your body? So you might have noticed changes in where you were feeling the breath as we change the position of the hands and the arms.
So full deep breaths in and full deep breaths out. And now release your hands. Bring one hand over the other onto your heart center. So now just coming into the feeling of your heart center, checking in with your heart, with your body. How are you feeling right here, right now? Drawing on feelings of gratitude, remembering achievements, things that have brought you pleasure, that continue to bring you pleasure, drawing the thoughts and feelings down from your head into your heart. The faces of loved ones, scenes from your favorite place, just conjuring up the images that give you pleasure, bringing them to your heart. And you can do this short, heartfelt practice anywhere at any time. It only takes a minute of your time to recenter, to feel better. Bring the palms of your hands together. Thank you for sharing the practice. So I'm going to turn off the recording, but I suggest that you now lie down for at least 5, if not 10 minutes.